You may have noticed something kind of odd happening within the fitness industry.
Something is very wrong here.
And it seems like gambling companies are permeating it.
What's up, dude? Oh my god! Bro! Oh my god, that's fucking it, people.
You see the 20K balance? We're firing way more than that.
Oh my god!
You can see gambling companies forking out nearly millions to support fitness influencers promoting their gambling websites. I mean, they are quite literally handing out 6-figure, 7-figure deals with these influencers and almost giving them blood money, which we'll talk about later. But it gets much worse than these fitness influencers making some dough off their audience. And I'm no CoffeeZilla, but I have spent quite a bit of time looking into this and trying to learn the complexities behind what's going on with the fitness industry and why it's being permeated by these gambling companies. And I really want you to understand the significance of how this is going to affect the fitness influencer tribe or fitness in general. But before I even get into any of that, if you could help me get to 20,000 subscribers, that would mean the world to me. It just takes a quick click of a button, and by all means, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's totally fine too. But the first thing is, why do these gambling companies want to target fitness males? Why is it that they suddenly are making their shifts into the fitness world? Is it really worth it for them? Well, if we look at the demographics within the audience we're talking about, fitness and the audience of fitness influencers, for instance, Togi's audience consists of mostly 20 to 27-year-old males, and the fitness industry is at large composed of what seems to be people essentially my age, anywhere born from 1990 to early 2000s, which is extremely important to note because they are likely relatively productive, chasing after self-improvement, interested in making a decent amount of money, especially at this critical point in their lives, and do have at least some marginal liquid cash to move around to certain different things. Essentially, they wouldn't be upset to spend $100 to possibly open up doors for a new opportunity. And if you really consider the people we're talking about here, this is a perfect demographic because the average age in which a gambling addiction starts is exactly that group, as well as the majority of people who do get addictions are Caucasian males. If I was a multi-million-dollar gambling company with an online website, this is the perfect opportunity to up my ante. But it doesn't just stop there, unfortunately. You have another horrible gambling situation going on with a very similar demographic right now, something that CoffeeZilla as well as many others have been uncovering these past several months.
You're saying like, oh, I'm just like kind of promoting McDonald's, whatever.
No, it's not. It's not like promoting McDonald's. Let's be honest. Gambling is a terrible addiction. My closest friend has a very, very bad gambling addiction. He'll get paid on, let's say, a Tuesday, and by Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, his whole paycheck is gone for 2 weeks, and then he has no money. And no matter what I do to intervene to help that individual try to hold his money, to help him sit there and self-exclude, he finds ways because it's an addiction. It's just as bad as any other drug because of that dopamine rush.
Yeah, the answers were part admissions, part rationalizations. They all knew gambling was bad, but they'd stopped short of actually doing something about it because they were making money from it, even when they knew people whose own lives were hurt by it.
These companies are spending millions on YouTubers, streamers, and any platform they can get on that involves gamers. They ultimately know that the people filling those seats are the exact ones who are most likely to spend a quick buck to gamble some money away. Another terrifying data point that you should familiarize yourself with is that the age in which people actually develop gambling addictions seems to be right around 22. So you have a majority of the young males who are gambling being in the demographic we're talking about 89% of them, as well as the gauge at which people start a gambling addiction in the demographic we're also talking about. It's a perfect bullseye for these companies, and the fitness market is ripe for that bullseye. It is perfect. And sensibly, people see lean individuals, more muscular people who take care of their health and fitness as more trustworthy. When someone like Alex Eubanks picks up a gambling sponsorship with a company after just talking about the Lord for 30 minutes, some of his audience might feel inclined that he's only going to present to you the best opportunity for you to win. I mean, no matter what, if you could see through the bullshit, there's going to be a large amount of people in his audience who are just going to take his word for it and immediately dump whatever they have into that option. We see this all of the time with crypto coins, cryptocurrencies all day long. Everyone does rug pulls. Their audience gets screwed, and yet yet we talk about it. It's talked about on the internet openly. Millions of people are aware that this scam chronically happens, yet you have thousands and thousands of people falling for it every single time it does happen. So no matter how woke or aware you might be, the other people might not be. But essentially what these companies are doing is basically leveraging pre-built trust in the communities that they're infesting. Again, our tribe of people is so ripe for this kind of exposure. And here is where I actually think the fault is almost entirely with the fitness influencers in question, and it gets wildly disgusting.
Holy bro, he can't. Oh my god. Oh,
Getting the f out, bro. Holy man, I'm getting the f out.
let's go. Bang! 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 Oh my god! Bang! Bang! That's what I'm talking about! Let's go! Let's go! Holy fuck, chat!
The way that these influencers are getting paid by getting people to gamble is horrible, because they don't just make money like a normal affiliate marketing program where you buy a product and they make a certain percentage of that product. No, it's so much worse. Togi explains actually an offer that he received for gambling here.
Horrifying fact, gambling addicts have the highest rates of ending their own lives out of all addictions. I don't know the kind of deal that Jack is signing, but I've been offered some pretty big gambling deals before, which obviously I denied. But I can talk a little bit about how that was structured, as the deal seemed to be pretty industry standard, as it was simply emailed to me. I was offered a flat fee for promotions, plus a percentage of the money generated from my code or link, which directly means I was offered a percentage of what my audience loses. I don't know about you guys, but that straight up feels like blood money to me. Obviously, what I was offered probably looks a little bit different than when Jack signed, but if I were to guess, and this is pure speculation, I have no idea, just some educated guessing here, he would probably be paid a monthly fee for a banner or logo on his streams, and then an hourly payment for when he streams himself gambling, most likely with house money. And then on top of that, he'll likely get a percentage for what his code or link generates.
So as he mentioned, he was offered to basically be paid per the loss of his audience as a whole. That's disgusting. And this is corroborated online as well, with many other companies posting pages about how to do affiliate marketing as a gambling company. It's like a coaching program thing. And these websites basically explain, yeah, here's how you set up affiliate marketships with loss earnings. So when these loyal quote unquote dudes, or these real as fuck dudes, post online about their new gambling opportunity that's going to make you thousands and thousands of dollars, it sounds really enticing, and you know they've steered you down a pretty good path so far. But deep inside, this person who's telling you to do the thing knows down way in there somewhere that he's going to be making money off of your loss.
Your loss is our gain, and we thank you.
You are paying the individual by losing money through gambling.
Oh my god, that's fucking it, people.
If that person gets their audience to lose a large portion of their income, or keep going to bet again after they've already lost some money and subsequently they lose more money, well, that's more money in their pocket. But what's the best way to make you believe that you could endlessly win, that the losses are worth it because you'll always end up winning somehow?
Pingers and you wreck me like that?
Oh, that's huge! That's huge! 11x, baby!
Just a couple, then we're done. Just a couple, then we're done. Oh, 26? Got a switcher.
Yeah, they show you the wins, the great times, the high numbers, the millions of dollars that you're missing out on. But this isn't possible at all. You see, statistically, it's pretty easy to determine that something like Togi's doing in these videos is actually impossible, because winning that many times would really require a kind of luck that we would never experience as a human being before. I mean, like, we could endlessly gamble for years and years and years with an infinite pot of money and never have chances like like we see some of these influencers doing on their streams, which makes me really curious why people haven't called out the fact that an influencer can suddenly win 3 times in a row with chances that are more than, well, ultimately playing against you, and yet no one else seems to be able to reproduce these results.
Something's fishy around here.
You'll often see streamers make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher into numbers that people would dream of. Like this video, Togi makes 60K within 6 straight bets.
Committing right now to the idea of 8 hands in a row. Bang! 32,000.
Do you understand how nearly impossible that is? I just want to be super clear about this. There's a 2% chance of that happening. A 2% chance of that ever happening. But this is something you see all too regularly within Togi's streams. But how can that be possible? How could he replicate this result so many times if there's only a 2% chance? Well, it isn't possible. This article actually discusses a practice where streamers have a pre-designed outcome. That's right, their bets are basically designed for them so that when they place them, they're already going to win. Or at least they'll have a higher probability to win, where you and I might have a 2% chance to win something, they're gonna have an 80% chance. The other alternative or even simultaneous thing that they do is load that user's wallet with cash. It's not their money, so heck, I'm gonna spend it and gamble all day. But the reality is the viewer doesn't know that. They think that this person has a ton of money they just slapped in trustworthy, like in this profile or in this account on the website that they're on, whatever the case might be. And unfortunately, none of that money is actually theirs to begin with. And then on top of that, they're getting paid on your losses. But it also instills this feeling of realism within the content that you're watching. It makes it intriguing because, yeah, they do have a chance to lose. And when it's spending real money, oh my God, it's more serious than ever. And especially if those individuals can really act out when they're winning or losing, it's gonna blow up.
Bang! 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 Holy fucking shit, bang! There it is! That's 20 hours! That's 20 hours! Bang! 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 Holy fuck! Holy fuck! Holy fuck! Bang! Bang! That's fucking holy shit.
And you can hear Alex here talking about the fact that he doesn't have to use his own money. When he accepted a gambling sponsorship not too long ago, less than a month ago, he didn't have to spend a dime. Yet on screen, on Togi's stream, they were spending thousands of dollars, making it look crazy.
I want you guys to know, in terms of like how gambling on social media works, when you see people promote it, or even like sports sponsors and stuff, like these people, first, you're not using your own money. I didn't gamble any of my own money. That money, whatever I used, was never mine to begin with. They usually pay you on top, and then money that you gamble with, whatever you make, in a sense, you can keep. So whenever you see people, for example, promoting like parlays and sports pick, majority of the time they don't even know what the hell they're doing. They're getting the plays from the actual companies themselves, and then they're promoting it as if it's their own money when it's not at all. I don't know if I'm allowed to go into that or even say that, because it's like, in a sense, exposing like how all these gambling industries work. Whenever you see that, like, these people aren't losing their own bread, dude. Like, it's first show and they're giving you money like on the back end, right? So that's kind of how that works.
And you can also hear here that the deal that he was about to receive was a 6-figure deal.
One thing I want to mention is that I feel so bad about, and I'm no longer ever going to do again, is like I took a gambling deal. I regret doing that completely. It's not who I am. The other day, a few days ago, my manager got hit up by a different company for it was 50 grand guaranteed, and it was up to a 6-figure deal, and we said no to it. And I want you guys to know that, especially this new year, like, I'm never gonna post gambling shit. I'm not doing that ever again.
And this was likely to discuss the gambling site maybe one time, or stream him gambling once, not multiple times. Maybe there was a deal baked in there where he had to mention it in some videos later on, but arguably, likely he only had to post about it once or twice. And usually these influencers are bound to collect about 50 to 80% of the losses that their audience might experience. It's a massive number. So an average influencer gambling with the gambling sponsorships might actually make something like $300,000 a month very easily.
Easy money!
I mean, it makes sense, right? These guys are promoting this lavish lifestyle that they're getting all from gambling, but the reality is everything they bought, everything they've had to sell to make more money to gamble with, first of all, it wasn't their money in the first place, and second of all, they were getting paid hundreds of thousands as you were losing hundreds of dollars. And again, I'm sure there's more involved than what I'm able to gloss over here because these companies do try to keep this stuff as private as possible, but I think the point is being made. It's clear that these influencers are making an assload of cash from you losing money. It's clear that they're not having to spend a dime of their own money, and it's clear that the companies doing this know who they're targeting. They're very predatorial and they're not dumb. So while your favorite influencer might be driving a supercar, have a super nice home, look like they're rich, they are basically doing this with blood money from their own audience that also got them famous. Now, interestingly, is this their ethical responsibility? Should they care about what they've done to their audience and are currently doing? After all, they didn't really make anyone place a single bet. They never had anyone forcefully click the link in their bio. If you lose, it's ultimately because you took the risk, right? Well, that's something I'm actually not so certain about, because like I said, we usually think of some kind of influencer as trustworthy, and you might be sitting there right now saying, "Oh, Kolton, I'm never trusting fitness influencers. I'm not dumb." But you probably have another influencer in your life that you do trust for information, or you do trust their word. You probably do. Even if you're absolutely, completely irrational about saying that you don't, you definitely do. Be it a celebrity or somebody who's a political influencer, fitness influencer, gun influencer, there is somebody down the line of people who you watch for content who you do trust. And the influencer knows this without any doubt. There is a certain amount of products that they talk about which build goodwill or ruin it. And most influencers will invest in building goodwill with good products, or not even talking about products and just dropping free content 24/7 to build up that goodwill, all to pop it later on for the big cash cow. And what better cash cow to then possibly 80% of your audience's losses when they're talking about gambling? I don't know. I guess I don't really have an answer for you, but there's definitely a lot of corruption involved with this, both on the influencer side as well as the gambling sites themselves. My hope is essentially that you take this video as a point of saying, hey, you know, if you're not driving a supercar, if you don't have the nicest house, if you don't have the nicest chains, it might not be your fault. In fact, the people that do have those things, Jack Doherty is another great example of this, Togi, the many other influencers, are doing this because they're having blood money on their hands. They've unfortunately been able to leverage their audience so hard without them even realizing it that they can live a lavish lifestyle now, all while you unfortunately lose more money, pushing yourself further below a line of poverty that is even comfortable. At least for me, that's something I can't get behind. The people I've talked to from doing YouTube and Instagram and all this cool stuff have been amazing. I considered a lot of them friends, and I've met a lot of people from doing this, and I don't think I would take advantage of anyone furthermore by doing something like that, knowing that I would basically be hurting the people that I've met and talked to would be wildly too immoral for me to even accept. And I get it. I'm an immoral person. I don't have an ethical compass, but regardless of that fact, I just have a certain principle in which I live on that I'm not accepting passing. It's not going to happen. You can't buy me with a dollar bill like that. I don't know. Maybe you can be bought. I mean, is it even wrong for them to be doing this? Is it wrong for them to leverage the opportunities that they do have for more income, even if it basically impacts the people below them? I don't really know. What do you think?